up, everyone? This is Ferrikster, standing in for FP Sticks while he continues his recovery. And I am so excited to be here. A little bit about me, I am a small-time content creator right here on YouTube, and I'm an even smaller Twitch streamer. I have less than 1,000 followers, which is why I'm so thrilled to be able to bring my face to all of you today. So welcome. Hi. I am going to be covering some games played in Ultra Premiere. These have been sent in by a member of the community. He is a absolutely astute professional, has been in the pro scene since Season 1, known for running Shadow Charizard in Great League, and the only trainer in the world to complete the Caleb Peng Challenge. It's me. It's me, Ferrikster. I don't know. I was told to do some kind of an opening, so that's what I'm going with. So let's hop into these games. You like that opening? I'm never getting invited back here. So, Ultra Premiere. I am running a non-XL, fully non-XL team, and it is also non-ABB. I'm opening with Gallade. I know FP6 likes running Gallade as a safe swap. I feel like anything that's run as a safe swap generally makes a fantastic lead, because all the arguments for what makes a good safe swap works for in the lead too. You know, if you want to win switch advantage, you can do it on the swap, you can do it in the lead. Helps to have like your lead and swap both be, you know, safe swaps, I guess. That's pretty much what I'm going for. And in the back, I have my shiny Swampert, and I have an Escavalier. So despite being shiny, my Swampert doesn't have like shiny stats. It actually has very good IVs. It's the rank 2. So that durability comes into play mostly just in the Swampert mirror. Here, I safe swapped Swampert into the Mandibuzz because I don't have a super consistent way of playing the Mandibuzz matchup. Fortunately for me, a lot of times recently, the Mandibuzz has been paired up with double poison in the back, so Escavalier and Gallade both have a decent amount of play, and it looks, based on, you know, bringing a Nidoqueen out, that's what this is going to be. So despite having no really good answer to Mandibuzz, I was at least able to switch in, and they got kind of stuck, weren't able to leave that matchup. So now I have my Escavalier trained on this Nidoqueen, Shadow Nidoqueen, and I'm going to no-shield that. There is a Jellicent that comes out. Wait, was this thing on the lead? Am I forgetting how I played this first matchup? I was talking too much. I'll do better next time. But I'm going to bring my Gallade out, and I correctly shield the Shadow Ball, which is fantastic. I can't count the number of times I've been baited with Bubble Beam. And now that I'm built up to double Leaf Blade, I'm just going to throw the first and then throw the second right away, because I have by now lost track of energy. I mean, even past me had lost track of energy. Current me doesn't remember how this game started, but that's okay. I'll get you on game 2. So Nidoqueen comes back out, and I survived the Poison Fang and undertapped the Leaf Blade, and for whatever reason I threw a Confusion anyway, and I then proceeded to die. So that was unfortunate, but GG to my opponent. Next up against DFH B1 down, Gallade into Alolan Ninetales. Thankfully for my team, most of the Alolan Ninetales that I've seen in the lead, probably about like 90% of them have been running Powder Snow. If this was Charm, I would immediately switch out to Swampert. The idea when you're running a balanced team is if you are hard countered in the lead and you're going to switch out to something, switch out to the thing that's not as good. That way, when they mirror swap out, you at least have something that can shut down their lead, and, you know, if it at least has some play against the thing in the back, you can pull yourself back from that situation. My opponent swaps into Kingdra, so I am going to throw this Close Combat. I was planning to throw that at Ninetales, and it will work fine on Kingdra also. Hits for neutral, just like Leaf Blade, so I'm going to throw the harder hitting Mood, and I get the last shield. So that's fine with me. I bring a Escavalier out, and I'm going to no-shield this. If it's the Outrage, fine. Octazooka hurts almost as much, and it will always debuff me because 50-50 shot of getting the debuff, so it happens to me 100% of the time. That's just the reality of the situation. That's just how that works. That's math. That's what that is. So Ninetales is going to come back out, and I am going to throw this Drill Run. Hits for neutral, but the Mega Horn is resisted. Since I have been debuffed, it really doesn't hurt that much, and I'm going to no-shield here. I will barely survive this Weather Ball, but I'm probably not going to be able to reach my next... Yeah, I don't reach my next Drill Run, but that's all right. But I'm bringing Swampert out, and I am going to no-shield this Weather Ball because it's just going to do chip damage, and I'm not even going to try to throw my Hydro Cannon right away because I want to build up a little extra energy. But my opponent preempts that and switches into Obstagoon. So That is okay. I can't double Hydro an Obstagoon. I have to throw one Hydro and then an Earthquake. My opponent could have thrown a move by now, but for whatever reason, he's trying to build up to back-to-back. I imagine he probably lost track of my energy. It's possible that I got in an invisible fast move at some point, but I couldn't tell from my side whether they saw it or not. But regardless, I was definitely in a pretty decent position. I can shield this Weather Ball now, and now I'm able to just throw this Hydro Cannon, and I managed to take that game. GG. Oh, my opponent escaped. That's always the kind thing to do. Some people think that it's bad manners to, like, leave, but I think that if you can stop your Pokemon from getting, you know, bludgeoned or whatever, you should do that. Switch out, you know, preserve the life of your friends. Don't let them get pummeled for no reason. So, Dragonite in the lead. I obviously don't have a great answer for Dragonite in any position at all. So, it usually takes a combination of 2 of my Pokemon to take it down. I am just going to stay in with Gallade because the Confusion is really the biggest damage doer that I have on my team for this. I got that shield, so now that we're in even shields, I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to try to fight for switch advantage, although if I really felt like I needed it, I could go down a shield and, you know, farm the whole way down with Confusion. But want to preserve my shield, get a feel for what else is in the back, and a shiny Swampert comes out. So that's alright. I am going to just throw this Drill Run. This is kind of a bait. If I throw the Mega Horn and it lands, it would put him into counter down range, and that's really, really what I should have done instead of what I did, which was not do that. So now I have to switch out, catch this Hydro Cannon on my Swampert to preserve a little bit of health on my Escavalier. I don't throw my Charge Move right away because my Swampert has good IVs, so it pretty much always loses CMP, so I'm just going to build up over. I had snuck in a Mud Shot also, so I'm a little bit ahead. So I am just going to throw this Hydro here, and my opponent lets it go. Dragonite comes out, I throw 2 Mud Shots, and now I'm throwing my Hydro Cannon. I don't want to get hit with the Dragon Claw, and he is getting awfully close to that. Not setting myself up amazingly with extra energy, and there's a Gengar in the back, so I'm able to get to this Hydro Cannon. And if this lands, it would do devastating damage, because Gengar is super, super squish. I was planning to switch out as soon as I got to my next Hydro to try to catch a move, but there was a decent window of time where he could have thrown it, and he decided to throw one before I reached. That's alright, I get to my Drill Run, but Gengar wins CMP, and my opponent manages energy absolutely perfectly, is able to land the Shadow Punch, and manages to take me out. GG to my opponent, that was nuts. Alright, next up against Ankake. Gallade into Jellicent. So this is a pretty common lead right now. It's important to throw 3 Confusions, and then you try to throw the Leaf Blade and CMP, or not CMP them, but try to fast move deny when you throw that so they don't sneak in a move. Of course, my opponent managed to switch out and catch the Leaf Blade on Ninetales, so I'm just going to throw 2 Confusions to get some of my energy back, because the Powder Stones aren't really doing that much damage, and it also puts Ninetales into farmable range. With Scavalier, there's not really an amazing way to harm Jellicent. Drill Run hits for neutral, and it really just doesn't do that much because XL Jellicent is such a tank. So, I don't really need a ton of health either. All I need is a ton of energy. I build up to literally 100 energy, and Ninetales goes down right at that time. Jellicent comes out, sneaks in a fast move, but that's alright. I will not be doing any extra damage with any counters that I get anyway, and I'm only going to be able to get to 2 Drill Runs regardless. So, just throw my back-to-back Drill Runs. It does pretty reasonable damage, and Jellicent is now into Confusion down range. I throw 1 Confusion there at the move, so I am going to shield here, even though it's almost always the Bubble Beam, and it is. And yeah, it was a decent CMP tie, so he's able to switch out and catch this Leaf Blade on Stunfisk. So my opponent has made 2 catches here, but neither of them has really helped that much because it put Ninetales into farm down range. And now that I landed that Leaf Blade, even though it was debuffed on G-Fisk, it's put him into Mud Shot plus Hydro Cannon range. I no longer will have to throw 2 Hydro Cannons or throw an Earthquake. Throw that Hydro, and because he's shielding, he's getting closer and closer into just regular Hydro Cannon range. I'm gonna no-shield this because it's only a Rock Slide and it really just doesn't do that much. Gonna throw this second Hydro here, and if it doesn't get the last shield, it'll put him in farm down range, and then he swaps out into Jellicent. I'm gonna throw my banked Hydro Cannon and take Jellicent out because I still have a shield, so as long as I don't take any damage here, I can Mud Shot down and get to the Hydro Cannon against Stunfisk, and even if it takes me out, I still have a Gallade with 1 shield and some energy. So I think my opponent realized this, and it looks like he actually like force closed the game. So now I am just going to, yeah, throw my Hydro Cannon, and it is going to lag a little bit because my opponent is gone, and then it'll finally go through, and I'll manage to take that game. GG. That's an even longer wait at regular speed. Thankfully, these are at 1.5. So next opponent against sucks. Gallade into Toxicroak. This is fantastic for Gallade, but you know, your opponent will always end up switching out. I generally prefer for them to throw one counter and then swap. Since he brought in Gengar, Gengar gets to his Shadow Punches at 5, then 4. So I make a mistake here, which is not throwing the Leaf Blade. I instead throw my extra Confusion. So now I'm forced to go down 2 shields, even though I won lead, which is terrible. Thankfully, my opponent's switch timer isn't up yet. So whatever comes in, my goal is to switch out right away, not throw a move. That way his switch timer doesn't have time to, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that. Why am I not doing that? I really should have swapped out right away. Shouldn't be throwing this Leaf Blade. I mean, it's great that I bait Leaf Blade and, you know, get a shield back. But now his switch timer is almost up. If I had just straight swapped to a Escavalier, I'd be able to get to the Drill Run before, you know, Toxicroak was able to switch in. Once Toxicroak switches in, I'm not really going to be able to get as much done. So this is going to hit for super effective, and it's going to do a ton of damage. If it lands, my opponent decides to preserve his Toxicroak. He's almost at he's at a Mud Bomb now. So I'm going to send in Swampert, which is a better wall to Toxicroak's energy. And he is just going to go straight Mud Bomb because the Sludge Bomb is resisted. Not throwing right away, letting him build up a little bit extra energy. He sneaks in a counter, which doesn't help for sure. I'm going to land this Hydro Cannon, and now I'm just going to farm Toxicroak down. I can survive this Mud Bomb, and I'll have some energy for G-Fisk, which threw an Earthquake before it swapped out, so I will definitely be able to take it out just from this range. Just throw the Earthquake, and it will very cleanly take Stunfisk out. And yeah, Tox can come back out, and it's just one Mud Shot down, and yeah, managed to take that game. GG. So, next up against Angel Pero. Gallade into Magnezone. This used to be a common lead a long time ago, and I have not seen it in a long, long time. So it was very nostalgic for me. The way I like to play this is just throwing a bunch of excess energy and trying to CMP tie them when they are getting to 12 sparks, because at 12 sparks they're at back-to-back Wild Charge. So I'm going to shield here, and then I'm going to just throw my Leaf Blade. I shouldn't have done this because Magnezone will survive, and I was only at 6 Confusion, so this could only be a Leaf Blade, so obviously survives. I thought he was going to throw right away, so I swapped into Swampert to try to catch that move, and there's a Venusaur in the back, so that's rough. Yeah. But that's alright. I'm going to land this Earthquake, and he's going to have to throw a move and take me out, or else my Hydro Cannon will take him out. Like, as bad as Swampert is against Venusaur, it's not really that bad if you can force them to, if you can draw a shield out. And now, since this Venusaur had some energy, that's actually fine for me. So I'm just going to bring a Escavalier out, which is a total wall to Venusaur's energy. I double resist Frenzy Plant and Sludge Bomb. I managed to counter all the way down, so now I have an Escavalier with energy, and I have taken almost no damage. So Magnezone's going to come out, and it is at like 2 sparks over the Wild Charge. So I'm going to shield this, and he switches out, which is fine. Magnezone, as long as I keep a Escavalier alive, a Escavalier will be able to counter Magnezone down before it's able to reach a Wild Charge. So I bait by throwing the Drill Run, and then I switch out at exactly 4 to catch the close combat. This is actually the reason that I had to throw the Drill Run first. If I had thrown the Mega Horn, I wouldn't be that close to my next move that it would force him to have to throw on 4. He would have had the option to throw a 5th Confusion, which would have doomed me. So because I threw the Drill Run, I was able to get the shield, and I was also able to put it into a range where it had to throw the close combat as soon as it had it, which enabled me to make that catch, and I managed to take that game. GG. Alright. Gallade into Empoleon. Whenever I see an Empoleon, I always assume that it's going to end up being Empoleon Double Dragon. It's the most popular team at this time. But I mean, you've also got to remember that Empoleon is just overall a very solid Pokemon for Ultra Premier, so it could really be run with anything. So since he's staying in, it implies that it's not an ABB team, because in an ABB team you want to switch to something to draw out the hardest counter. And since that's not happening, I am figuring that it's probably not Double Dragon. I'm going to switch out to a Escavalier, which is probably a mistake. I should have just stayed in with Gallade and let him counter me down. And there is a Gallade in the back, so that's not great. But he's throwing at 3, so this can only be a Leaf Blade, so I'm going to obviously let that go. Throw 1 counter so that he can't sneak into confusion. Maybe throwing 1 more would have been better. And I'm going to throw this Mega Horn. Hits for neutral, does devastating damage. Throw 2 counters and get taken out. If I had gotten 1 extra counter in, he would have been in Mudshot down range. I thought maybe he still would be, so I sent Swampert in. I throw 2 Mudshots, but it's not enough to take him out, and he gets the Leaf Blade. So I'm going to have to shield this because Leaf Blade would one-shot. And my switch timer wasn't out, yep, so I wasn't able to catch it on Gallade. And there's a Venusaur in the back, so that's, yeah, that's rough. That's a problem. So Swampert can take out Venusaur. All I have to do is time this swap perfectly. Like, I can get to the Hydro, it would take him out, but he throws at around 7, and I figured he was going to wait like 1 more, and I was going to switch out and try to make a catch at 8. Didn't manage to catch that move, so yeah, the game is pretty much over. And yeah, Empoleon just comes out and waterfalls me down. GG. Alright, next up against Komati. Gallade into Scrafty. So, this is fine. This matchup is somewhat bait dependent, but only in the sense that when you bait with Leaf Blade, whether he shields or not determines, you know, whether you just continue to Leaf Blade. Because once you've landed 1 Leaf Blade, like if you look at how much damage this does, after you land 1 Leaf Blade, if you land the second one, it puts them into pretty much confusion down range. Oh, you're not going to say it this time. All right, that's fine. And yeah, so I'm just going to throw this close combat because he did shield, and I haven't. So if he shields, goes down 2 shields, and this was a CMP tie, so I'm going to no shield here, let myself get taken down by the foul play, but it's a power-up punch instead, so he gets 2 counters of energy, and that's all right. So at this point, I'm just going to send out a Scavalier. He has boosted his attack once, but, you know, my counters are hitting for super effective, and his are just hitting for neutral because of my bug subtyping. I incorrectly shield, and it's another power-up punch, so I am forced to throw this drill run as soon as I can. I think it was actually really smart to throw the power-up punch. It was worth it to make that bait, because if he'd thrown the foul play and I'd shielded, I would have been able to farm him the rest of the way down. That would have been terrible. So my opponent brings out a Drapion onto my Escavalier, which is not an Escavalier counter. The Poison Stings are doing nothing. Poison Sting normally really doesn't hurt, and against Escavalier it does even less than nothing. And that kind of informs me that the other thing is probably also very weak to Escavalier. So since Escavalier and Swampert have a lot of overlapping matchups, I'm going to save my shield, and it is a Nidoqueen in the back. Scrafty double poison actually is a pretty popular line right now. And next up against No Treble Clef. So Gallade into Shadow Machamp. This is obviously a fantastic lead for me. He sneaks in 1 counter, which honestly helps me because he switches into Dragonite. So if you're going to play as Machamp, right, and switch into Dragonite, against the Gallade, just switch to Dragonite straight away. Because he let me get in half a confusion on Machamp and landed the confusion on Dragonite, it actually put me ahead on energy, which would have enabled me, if I had decided to stay in, to get to the Leaf Blade a full half a confusion earlier then Dragonite would be able to reach his Dragon Claw. But since I have a better receptacle for the dragon damage in the back, I switch out to Escavalier, and I end up having to throw my Drill Run to take him out because otherwise he would get to another Hurricane, and I definitely don't need that. So I'm going to throw this Drill Run against Shadow Machamp, and I get the shield, so that's fantastic. I get countered down right before I got to my next Drill Run, which really hurts. But that's alright. I'm going to bring in Gallade, and since he probably has a decent, like, answer to a Gallade in the back, I no shield because I could survive that, and yeah, there's a Stunfisk in the back, so that's fine for me. I'm just going to bring in my Swampert. Swampert pretty much hard counters G-Fisk. I assumed he was just going to shrug and throw the Earthquake as the first move, and that didn't happen. I got baited, which is honestly fine, and feels like kind of a mistake on No Trouble's part. Like, because I can double Hydro, if he throws the Rock Slide, if I no shield, it does like no damage, and if I do shield, he's not going to be able to get to an Earthquake regardless. So I feel like it would have been the smarter play to just throw the Earthquake, just so that you at least have that chance of doing enough damage for it to matter. In that situation, throwing the Rock Slide didn't provide him with a win condition, because now from there, Swampert's able to just go straight Hydro Cannon the whole way down, and I managed to take that game, GG. But I still love you, No Trouble. Promise, he's a very talented battler. All right, next up against Dunebug. So, Gengar, and I was immediately remembering my most recent encounter with Gengar in the back, or when Gengar was used as a swap. So you can see that I am hitting my Leaf Blade as this Gengar goes for the Shadow Punch here. need to throw this Leaf Blade because otherwise he will get to his next next Shadow Punch and I'll end up having to go down shields again. I switch out to Swampert to try to snipe him down. Doesn't quite make it, and Shadow Machamp in the back, so that's all right. I build up to the Earthquake before throwing the Hydro Cannon because the Earthquake puts it into Mudshot down range, and the so if I'm able to land that, I will be able to, you know, win switch here. So the Hydro does not land. I get the shield, which is fantastic, and I should have just gone for the Earthquake, but it looked to me like 2 more counters were going to be too much for my Swampert to take. I thought I was going to be KO'd by them, but you can see here I absorb 2 counters and don't get KO'd. So if I had just gone for the Earthquake, it would have been the better move, and I would have been able to cleanly win switch advantage with a shield. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I'm going to send Gallade back out, and I cannot shield here because Gengar already has a Shadow Punch. So if I shield this, Gengar will just swap in, go for the combo play, and take me out, and I don't need that. So just have to counter down with Escavalier and hope that the thing in the back is weak to Escavalier, and it is, sort of. It's an Alolan Muck. So I'm going to throw this Drill Run. Hits for super effective, but it doesn't do enough to take him out, but it does put him into counter down range. I'm not going to need to throw another move. I just need to get in enough counters here. So I am going to shield this Dark Pulse because it will do a little bit more than the Shadow Punch, and all I need to do is not throw this Drill Run against Gengar. Like, Gengar was so low, I could have just countered down. There was no need for me to throw this move. I saw it switch in, and I was just trying to throw the move before Gengar, but Gengar obviously, you know, wins CMP and he threw instantly. But that's all right. I switch out, and I managed to catch this Dark Pulse on my Gallade for the winning play, and am able to counter Alolan Muck down. And yeah, that's the game. All right. Anyway, that last set brought me up to like 29-33. So games were being played at a pretty high level. All of my fantastic gameplay by all of my opponents. I think I did okay there. And yeah, if you like this commentary and you like content like this, but with me instead, I guess, I don't know, come subscribe to my channel. Come smash my like button. That's what I'm into. Don't forget to do the things that you're supposed to do at the ends of videos on this video also. You know, comment, share, like, all the responsible stuff that you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. I will see you guys in the next one if FP6 ever decides to invite me back, but that would be surprising. Thank you all for watching.